Oh man, I almost forgot to come out here. I was busy editing some videos and I thought, okay, yeah, I'll come out here at a certain time. And then I looked at my watch and it was about 15 minutes late, and I thought, I gotta do this before it gets dark because I wanted to see the progress that they've done this next day. I see they've done some more progress there. It's not as much as I thought they would get, but again, maybe there was only 2 people out here. Maybe they only worked half a day. Who knows? But in any case, I'm going to be going out of town, and I'm going to be gone for about 10 days. Remember the other day I showed you the forms, the framing over here, and now it looks like they've started over in this section. Is there a rhyme or reason for which walls to build first, second, third, fourth, fifth? Well, apparently not. They decided to build this over here. Okay. And a funny thing I'm noticing here, we've got some interior walls here that are the same height as over there. These are probably 10-foot tall walls. And then this next section drops down. Do you see that? This next section drops down about a foot. And then that's the same height all the way over there. Maybe this roof here goes down this way and the rest of the roof goes that way. I'm not sure. But see, the guys who are building this, when they look on the floor plans and they read the drawings, they know what to do. And it's not, and it'll tell them, okay? And so that's why they've built this. These walls here are probably 9 foot tall. I should have brought a tape measure, but I didn't. But like I say, I wanted to get out here before I left town, because when I come back, I'm gonna wager that the rest of these walls will be built. I mean, I'm gonna be gone for a good week, and that includes a weekend too. So they got about 5, maybe 5 working days, 6 working days if they don't work on the weekend, before I come back. So I have a feeling all of the rest of the interior walls, the perimeter, exterior walls there, and the outside, all of the walls will be done. Everything will be braced properly. Everything will be plumbed. And what do I mean by plumb? Plumb means level, but up and down. Vertically is plumb. Level is from left to right, horizontal. Did you know that? So when somebody says, hey, is your wall plumb? You'll know what that means. Plumb is straight up and down. Okay? And so anyways, when I get back in town, I think everything will be straight lined on the walls. Everything will be braced properly. Everything will be plumbed. Everything will be ready for the roof to go on, if in fact there's no second floor. And I don't really think there is a second floor. So they'll have everything ready. In fact, they might even put plywood on the exterior walls before they put the roof on. It just kind of depends. If the trusses are still being ordered, and if they're not going to be here for a couple weeks, then the guys who are framing the walls, instead of doing the roof, okay, yeah, we're going to have you do all the plywood on the outside of the walls, okay? And they'll put that on. Usually they put OSB plywood, 1/2 inch OSB plywood on the exterior of walls nowadays, if in fact they are going to be installing stucco. I believe they are going to be installing stucco. I did see a big pile of OSB plywood over there, and so I'm thinking that's going to be for the walls. Now, that OSB plywood, could it be for the roof after they install the trusses? Yeah, it could be. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. And so that'll be coming up. See all that plywood over there? There's all kinds of stacks of plywood over there. Okay, that's all for this particular house. Okay, and so anyways, it's a very interesting process. I mean, obviously after all the interior walls get done, at that point the electrician can come. He can start installing his wiring inside the house, putting all of his light switches in, his electrical outlet boxes. The plumber can come in and start doing his plumbing. And what do I mean by the plumbing? Here we got some plumbing we got some plumbing pipes right here in the floor. Okay, you see that there? Well, he's got to extend those up and out of the room, and so he'll come up, he'll extend it out, put a cap on it, extend this up, put a cap on it, install his drain line, come up and out of the wall, and then he'll also extend his drain line, creating a vent that'll go up. He'll drill a hole up there, and that'll get up and terminate up through the roof. And all that kind of stuff can be done after they install the rest of the framing. Okay, so one step at a time, right? And they'll get it. And see, once they start building walls, you start walking through this area here, and all of a sudden it looks like it's bigger. It just looks like it's bigger because there's walls going all over the place. And you're like, my word, there's all kinds of rooms in here now. Okay, and see how they did. I'm just jumping around talking about different things. See how they did this? There's three exterior perimeter windows, okay? But yet they decided, let's just install one beam going all the way across. That way we don't have one little beam there, one from here to there, one from here to there. And so they decided to do it that way. Usually when you install a beam, and if it's that long, you're gonna probably have two trimmers, meaning the 2x6, this 2x6 here, see, it goes up to the bottom of that beam. But if that was a big beam all the way across, just by itself, and one big huge window, would probably have two 2x6s underneath the beam there, two 2x6s underneath the beam there. Well, here they don't have that. They just got one. That's because they also have these 2x6s here going up to the bottom of the beam, creating that window. Two 2x6s here, creating this window, two there, and so they've got plenty of 2x6s holding up the beam. Do you see what I mean? Because remember, we saw a couple we saw a couple other areas. Where did we see? We saw a beam with two trimmers. Here's one over here. I'm not quite sure why they did this. See, here's a 6x12 or 6x10 beam header going across there. See, there's two 2x6s going up underneath the beam, and then you've got one king stud going all the way up here. Over here you got two going up underneath the beam, and a 2x6 going all the way. That's called a king stud, going all the way up to the bottom of the top plate, of the first top plate, and then these are called trimmers that go up underneath. And it used to be years ago that all perimeter walls were 2x6 or 2x4 walls. Nowadays it's 2x6 walls. A lot of times they decide to use 2x6 walls because then they can install more insulation inside the walls, as opposed to if you could see that if this perimeter exterior wall was a 2x4 wall, you could only put so much insulation in there. That's going to protect you from outside with the heat coming in, or the cold coming in the winter, the heat coming in through the summer. Does that make sense? And so they figure, hey, let's spend the additional money to run 2x6 walls as opposed to 2x4 walls in order to give us more insulation. Okay, so, and that's pretty much the only reason why I think they build those that way. And see, what I was going to tell you is years ago when we built walls that were just 2x4 walls on the perimeter, the theory was a 4x4 beam post could span 4 feet. A 4x6 could span 6 feet. 4x8 could span 8 feet. A 4x10 could span 10 feet, and a 4x12 could span 12 feet. Well, and I believe that was before we had to put double trimmers. Anything over 12 feet, we had to then put double trimmers under there. Well, this is not a 4x12. It's a 6x12 or a 6x10, whatever it is, and for some reason they decided to get 2 trimmers on both sides. I'm not quite sure, because this 6 by 10 or 6 by 12 should be able to span way longer than this, and get by with just 1 trimmer. So I'm not quite sure why they did that. Because see, this, I know this opening is probably only 6 feet wide, 6 feet long from left to right. And when you're framing windows, you got to find out from your window company how much bigger to frame the window opening on the width as opposed to the height. And then you would frame out the window accordingly. If it's a 4 by 6, this happens to be probably I'm gonna guess an 8 foot tall window, 6 foot wide, or something. Or it could be 6 by 6? Either way, it's not going to be 6 feet by 6 feet exactly. It's going to be whatever the rough opening measurements are for whatever windows that you do, and then you've got to make it accordingly. Do you see what I mean? So that your window fits, so you got enough slop in there, so you've got enough room if you're going to put sheetrock all the way around it, so that the reveal around the perimeter of the trim of the window fits in there. You got to decide, are you putting sheetrock there, or are you going to have sheetrock just on the sides and on the header, and at the bottom are you going to have a window stool and apron on there? And usually that's what people do. And you know, you keep following along, you'll know what a window stool and apron is going to look like. Okay. All right. So enough of that. I'm just kind of jumping around, finding things to show you. But it's getting kind of dark. But let's just talk a little bit about sheetrock backing. What are you talking about on sheetrock backing? Well, every wall, as this wall goes this way and then this wall goes this way, when you put the sheetrock on, you got to have sheetrock nailing on this side, and then when you've got your sheetrock here, you got to have it over there. So see, they ran this here you've got a 2 by 6. This one they ran flat, didn't they? You see there, they ran a flat one there, and then they extended it out. Now, if they wanted to, they could have installed a 2 by 4 and let it stick out and had a gap there, and then they wouldn't have had to have used a 2 by 6. They could have used a 2 by 4, let's say. For instance, if you want to save a few dollars, you know what I mean? So every inside walls, you've got sheetrock backing. So see here, there's where your sheetrock gets nailed, boom, boom. And then they had to put a 2 by 6 flat waste this other way. So on here, you've got sheetrock, sheetrock, sheetrock. Then you had to have it over here. And instead of them putting a full one right there, they got another full one at the end, and then they run one flat this way. And usually when they do that, they take 2 pieces and they put it on the ground like that, and they nail it. They'll nail it together like that. You know, but this one being up higher, and like an L-shaped deal. Then as they're framing everything on the walls, they'll put that L-shaped piece in there and frame it that way, because there's no way you want to install this later. You want to think about that as you're framing your walls. So see here, they didn't have to do anything like that because they just ran a 2 by 6 here, and see, you've got a gap there. But that's okay. The sheetrock, there's enough room. Nail your sheetrock there. You don't have to nail your sheetrock right there. Plus this sheetrock's going to go right to there, and then this one here. Either way, you've got enough room for sheetrock backing. That's what that is. That's sheetrock backing there, sheetrock backing there. You don't need all of your 2 by 6s this close together. Okay, but you had to install something for your sheetrock nailing. Okay, see, on this one here, this last one, well, no, I was going to say they could have ran a 2 by 4 there, but they didn't because of out here. Do you see what I mean? But anyways, usually with 2 by 6s, you don't worry about trying to save and skimp and put a 2 by 4 instead of a 2 by 6. See, like this, they could have installed a 2 by 4 there. Okay. From here to there, because on the outside they've they've got this 2x6 here. Okay, so you wouldn't have needed this other 2x6 here. You could have ran a 2x4 there, but they don't, like I say, they don't normally do that. Like, okay, where are we going to save money on putting 2x4s as opposed to 2x6s in here? You see that? They forgot this last 2x6 for some reason. There's another 2x6 that's got to go in there. See, it goes in right there, that direction, to make that outside corner. Okay, and then you see over here, you've got sheetrock nailing there, but you don't have it here. Right here, see? When you put sheetrock on this wall, boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, there's no sheetrock nailing right here, so you have to put sheetrock backing there. And because there's a 2x6 there, you could put a 2x4 right there if you wanted, instead of a 2x6, and then nail it on there, and that gives you 1.5 inches over here for your sheetrock nailing. You see what I mean? And so usually after they frame everything, it's going to be somebody's job. Oh, go around and check and make sure we've got our sheetrock nail backing all installed properly. And so you look at that. Okay, you got to add something over there, and then you look somewhere else and see if there's any other place where you need sheetrock nailing. See, like here's one for sheetrock, but you wouldn't nail that, and so I don't know. They probably should put a 2x4 there, or maybe they just leaving it there so when they run the sheetrock across here, boom, boom, they're just going to nail there because they can't get their hammer up in there anyways because of that angle. Do you see what I mean? And so you got stuff like that. See how this wall angles like that? They had to put that there. That's for your sheetrock. That's for your sheetrock nailing. Boom, boom. And then they've got this piece, and they just ran it at an angle. You could put the sheetrock across here, and then this would be hitting your sheetrock, and then you would nail your sheetrock exactly right at that little outside edge. Or you could take a piece, and I saw that they had a piece cut at a 45-degree angle, and it was out here. We're getting dark, so I'm almost done. You see how they've got this piece here? Look at this. They've got an extra piece that they cut off of somewhere to make this angled piece. They could take that, and then they could put that on that angled bit. Do you see what I mean? And then give a little bit more sheetrock nailing ability. Where is it? Right here. They could put that right there, tack it on there, and then it would go across, and then that would be enough for the sheetrock nailing. Or they can just leave it like that if they want. Okay, all right, I think that's all I got, but I wanted to run out here and make a quick video before it got too dark, and it's getting too dark to really see anything now. But I just wanted you to see what progress that they've done since the yesterday. Okay, and they really didn't do much, did they? You know, I would have thought they would have gotten further, but like I say, maybe they only came out here for half a day at the end of the day from another job. Maybe there was only 2 guys here for 3/4 of the day instead of 4 guys. You know, had they had 4 guys here, 5 guys here, they could have framed up all kinds of stuff here. Okay, all right. So, look at that. Look how dark it is. That's all I have. That's all I have for this time. You're just going to have to kind of make believe you can see me. But I'll be back with more videos. And when I come back from vacation, like I say, this will be all framed. We'll talk about it. You'll see a lot more. And you'll see this whole thing starting to come to life. And maybe even when we get back, they might have already done some of the plumbing to get it out of the walls, and that'll be called the rough top out plumbing. Okay, when they get it all out of the walls, and we might see some electrical, and then I can show you some of that and show you how they install the wiring and how they staple the wiring and how they drill the holes and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, all right, I'll see you again. Thanks again for joining me. I appreciate it, and I hope you're learning how to build a house. Well, I guess that's all I have for this time, but I'll be back with more videos, and I'm enjoying bringing all these videos to you, and I hope you're liking them. If you do, give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, send me any questions that you might have on how to build a house. You can go to my playlist. You can always find all of my other videos on how to build a house in my playlists. And what's my playlist? Where can you find them? Go to my main YouTube channel page, click on playlists, and scroll down to how to build a house.